This was the first gold trade of the week. I was looking for shorts after I saw that price came down, breaking structures and creating lower highs and lower lows, also breaking this low over here. So I was waiting for price to actually do a retest into my 4-hour zone as well as my 1-hour zone before taking the trade down, aiming for TPs at this area here as well as here. So if I were to zoom in for you guys, we see that at this current point here, price didn't tap into my 1-hour zone before it actually came down after that, after creating its lower highs, and it hit the TP1. So this was a miss on gold on Monday. If I had taken these shorts, I would have gone down to the 15-minute, and once this area here actually closed, second candle actually closed bearish, I would have entered on the third candle with my stop loss above the rejection wick on the top, and then I would have aimed for this 1-hour lows here. As you can see, this was the immediate 1-hour lows where I would have taken my first TP at. So this trade would have netted about, let's see how many R, about 11 R on this TP1 area. This was the trade on the 23rd of June. So I saw that price failed to close strong below this previous 1-hour lows over here. So I knew that price was actually kind of stuck in a range. And also at this point in time, when price retested the 4-hour zone, it did not create lower highs, so there were no sells for me at this area here. And also there was also the US PMI news that was coming out in the New York session, so I decided to wait for price to actually do its thing after the New York session. However, this trade was missed because I saw that price broke the zone with the top wick, and after that it still came down, aiming for these equal lows over here. So how I could have caught the trade was to go on to the 15-minute at that point in time, when price actually created the second bearish candle closing within this 1-hour sell area. I could have then entered the trade on the third one, respecting, after its upper wick respected the highs, stop loss above it, and then aim TP1 at these equal lows here on the 15-minute, as this would have been where those people who took longs would have put their stop loss. So this would have been TP1, and TP2 would actually be at this 1-hour equal lows here, which we see was tapped with this wick. So that's how I could have done better on this trade. This was my trade short on the 24th of June on gold. So I saw that price actually closed below this low. Not the best close because it wasn't very strong. So I was waiting for this candle here. When I saw that it closed respecting this 15-minute sell zone, I was waiting for the next 15-minute candle to actually respect this area, and I wanted to sell when the next candle actually created a lower high from this zone. However, because it broke the high and closed bullish, I didn't enter yet, but instead I was waiting on the 5-minute so that I could see an earlier structure change. So when I saw that this candle closed bullish but below my 50%, confirmed by this next candle here, the moment the next candle respected the high and flipped bearish, I took the entry shot over here with my stop loss above the 15-minute zone, and I was aiming for this 15-minute liquidity area here, which was the equal lows around this area over at this point here, where price had made many rejections before. So however, when we look at the 5, after that price was struggling to close below and push off this area. So when I saw this previous candle, let me replay again. When I saw that this previous candle pushed down really strongly and yet still closed bullish, I waited for the next candle to give me some indication that it wanted to go down, and when it did this, I still held on to my trade. And when I saw this candle closing like this without a bottom wick and with all these wick rejections here, I cut off 50% of my trade and I left the rest as it was. So I couldn't really move my stop loss on this because there wasn't really a clear break of the lows and all these wicks over here. So the remaining runner actually got hit at the full stop, and overall this trade was a BE trade. As we can see here, after that it would have hit me here on this candle when it retraced. On the same day, on the 24th, after I saw that my previous trade had already hit a loss, overall netting me BE. I decided to wait till the New York session because again on that day, the 24th, we see that there was actually US news that was coming up from their GDP numbers and unemployment claims. So I knew that my next entry, if I really wanted to take a trade, had to be after the news was out. So I just let this area go, and we can see that price actually came up to the 1 hour 50% level. So when it closed bearish like this, I took my shots on the hourly with my stop loss above, and I was aiming for these lows over here. So one mistake that I made was I aimed a bit too far on the TP. I aimed for 177.2, but in actual fact, I'm looking at the 1 hour, I should have aimed this demand zone over here, somewhere in the middle of the demand zone, and then I could have taken profits from this trade overnight. So as you can see, the trade played out perfectly, hit the TP, and then it started to bounce off from there on the next day. So this trade could have netted me about 6R, but however, because I was trailing my stop loss above these highs over here where I got hit at this point in time, I ended up with only 3R, close to 4R on this trade here. So this was not the best trade management at this current point in time, since there was a clear demand zone here after price had broken these highs on the hourly. So there was 2R of wasted profits on this trade. So because I was in on the short trade from the night before, it was a bit difficult for me to look for buys at this area. But now on hindsight, when I'm looking at the trade, since I saw that price had made these lows over here and clearly respecting this buy area, so I should have been a bit more aware and look for buys off this 1 hour zone when price broke, came back to retest, and then continue higher. And that's exactly what I did over at this area here. So on this candle, I would and should have gone to the 15-minute, and once price actually made these higher lows here, I should have taken the trade long at this current juncture off the 1 hour zone. So when this candle flipped bullish, I should have taken the long, since price had already lost bearish momentum, closed bullish, created higher lows. When it flipped bullish, this could have been a signal to go long, and then my TP could have been to the 1 hour zone over at this area here, which was the previous highs on the left on the 15-minute, and then I could have aimed for this 50% of the 1 hour sell area. So if I play price forward, we'll see that price actually went straight towards the TP over at this area here. So this trade could have netted me about a total of 15R if I had caught the longs, if I wasn't so stuck on my short trade at that point in time, since price on the 15-minute, if we look here, had already done a break of structure higher, came back to retest, creating higher lows at these 3 points. So this was a clear indication that price was expecting this buy area and was then going towards the next sell area over at this point here. So this trade I should have been a bit more on the ball with this one. So again, like I've mentioned before, sometimes if price has gone off without me, try not to stay on the charts for too long. Just let price come into the correct sell area where you're waiting for, set an alarm at this point in time, and then wait for price action to show you what it wants to do. Because my mistake that I made that made me miss this long and this short was because on Friday I actually stayed on the charts quite a while, and I was quite tired by the end of the day. So when I saw that gold was just grinding its way slowly and creating very indecisive price action, after the news came out on Friday, which was this core PCE, although I was already expecting shots from this area, I didn't wait for the trade to present, and I just left the charts when I saw this candle closing like this. So this was a mistake on my end. However, if I had waited for the news to come out and I had seen that this next candle after news came out closed bullish but respected my 1 hour zone again here below the 50%, once price actually created a lower high on the 15-minute at this point in time, over at this area here, I could have taken my shots back down towards this buy zone here, and that would have been easy. Let's see how many R would that have been. Stop loss above the wicks, and this could have been to the middle of the zone is about 6R. So if I were to play it forward, we see that the TP wasn't really hit, but it came down. If I was still watching the charts, how I would have managed it was when it came down, broke below these equal lows here, I could have taken some profits off since it was a Friday and actually locked the stop loss at BE. So if this area here doesn't hit the TP, at least I would have secured some here. So this was a lesson learned, that since I already know that price actually is waiting for news to come out, before that, if it's only natural that price is choppy, so I should have just gone off the charts to rest first and then come back during the New York session so that I will have more energy to analyze the charts. Let's move on to GJ and the trades that I took, missed and lost for this week. So I saw when I came to the charts on Monday, I saw that price had already broken strong below this previous 4-hour support. So when I came to the charts, I saw that price was actually entering into my 4-hour zone. So after that, I went down to the 1 hour, and because price was creating higher lows at that point in time, I wasn't able to take any sells. So I waited to see if price would respect the 1 hour zone. So when it approached this 1 hour zone and rejected close below the zone, I was waiting for shots at this point in time. So when price came in, I went down to the 15 minute, took my short entry when I saw that price created a lower high off the 1 hour zone with my stop loss above the 50%. So I was aiming for this area on the 15 minute, the immediate equal lows over here as my TP1. However, after that, price pushed off for a bit, hit the stop loss, and then after that it came down again. So this was a lost trade on GJ for Monday. So it's all probability. Sometimes price can make a wick up, still respect the zone, but come down again after that. So on hindsight, I could have done another entry here with my stop loss above the 1 hour zone, or on the original trade I could have put it above the 1 hour zone instead so as not to squeeze the stop loss. But because I saw that this area already rejected close below the 1 hour zone, so I thought the 50% would be a safe level for me to put the trade. But this is just probabilities of trading. So after that, we see that price actually would have hit the TP level over at this area here if I were to mark it up. Just nice at this area before bouncing off again. So after that, price actually pushed off higher off this zone. The next day, on the 23rd, I saw that the daily candle, so this candle hadn't printed yet, so let me just clear it away. I saw that the daily candle had closed below the 50% level, or kind of near it. So I knew that on the 23rd itself, I was looking for shorts down. So when I waited on the 1 hour, I saw that price was just ranging at this area, but it was still creating lower highs all the way towards the London session. So what I could have done on this area was, when price actually came up to this area and broke these lows over here, with this candle breaking this area of lows over here, again it's not the best close, but since it did technically close below, I could have actually waited at this zone here, since price was still respecting the daily 50% area and playing around the area before the news on the 23rd, which was the PMI from the UK. So because price was actually still playing at the daily area, after I saw this close here, again it's not the best close because it's not really a strong close below these lows over here, it barely closed below. So but still I did mark up this 1 hour supply zone here, and when price actually pushed up, broke the zone a little but managed to close below the zone, this was a clear indication that this was a clear sell area. So the moment the next candle actually flipped bearish, I could have taken the shots. So stop loss conservatively could have been placed above this wick here. So it's a bit big, it's about almost 20 pips, but I could have aimed for this liquidity area over here on the 1 hour, and then at this lows over here on the next 1 hour lows over here, and we see that the TP would have been smashed at this 1 hour lows here. So this could have netted me about 3R on this trade. After the news move had happened, I saw that price actually pushed and stopped at this area here with the wick. So when I was looking at the candles, I was curious why this price stopped here. So I went down to the 15-minute and I saw that there was actually this demand zone over here which price tapped into perfectly. So I was looking for longs at that point in time. So once the next 1 hour candle actually flipped bullish, I took the longs. At this point in time, I took longs with my stop loss just below this previous candle's wick, because I also understood that since there was a very big news move, price could, number one, go up to test this 1 hour supply zone at this area here before coming down again, or it could just continue its move down. So if it were to break this low here, it would actually also break this low. So I knew that I could just safely put my stop loss here. So unfortunately, this move was a bit early, because after that we see that the stop loss was hit before price actually continued to move up. So this was a minus 0.5% on the trade, or minus 1R. The final trade on GJ on Friday was actually again during the New York session. So at the point in time when I was coming to the charts, I saw that price had already broken this 1 hour low and was continuing to fall. I wanted to catch the sells again when price came up to retest, but it didn't. So my next trade setup was buys of this 4 hour zone over on the left here. So at this point in time, when I saw that price rejected on the hourly, I would have gone down to the 15-minute at that point in time, and when I saw that price created a higher low over here after rejecting the 1 hour zone, entry long could have been made when the next candle flipped bullish, stop loss below, aiming for this area here on the 15-minute equal highs again as TP1. So this could have been about 3R on this trade. So let's see, TP1 was actually hit before after that price came down again. So given that it would have been Friday, I would have just secured 50% at this area, locked the stop loss, and most likely than not, this candle would have hit me over the weekend. So yeah, this was my entire week for this week. Overall, I didn't make a lot of profits. I missed a lot of trades. So hopefully this video gives you an idea about the setups that I look for, how I look for the trades, what I look for confirmations, and how I manage my trades. So if you guys have any questions, hit the YouTube description below or drop me a DM on IG, and then I'll try to help you out from there.